what's up, everybody? This is FrogZilla, and I'm trying to do Rodney's part 2 here. I watched part 1 a few times, and I realized how much I rambled on. I'm sorry. I appreciate you sticking out watching this one. And if you haven't watched the first one, please go back and watch the first one. I'll try to. I got some editing stuff on the computer today, and so I'm going to try to get some stuff cut out of it, like most of my rambling, like I'm doing now. But anyhow, I just want to come on here and talk about my brother Rodney a little bit. You know, he was such a character. He would make you fucking pee yourself laughing. I mean, he was always cracking. I guess that's why me and him got along so well, because I was always an ass clown myself and a smart ass, you know. Always had something stupid to say, you know. And we played off each other on being fucking funny a lot, you know. Especially if he had this thing, man. I can't hear out of one ear, and then if he's over there talking to me, he knew that I couldn't hear him, so he'd like grab something, like if we was sitting out on his porch, he had this funnel, you know, he had a little box that he had car stuff in, and he had a funnel, and he'd grab that fucking funnel and stick it up to my ear and say, "Hey, Frog, turn around, give me your fucking good ear, boy, I'm talking to you," you know. He used to freak people out when he did it in front of people that don't know what's going on, you know. They don't know that I'm deaf. But it's funny, I mean, we just played off each other like that, you know. We didn't, now I didn't drink with him. I didn't hang around with him when he drank. Now, we did all kind of stuff, other things together, you know. We did our fair share of mushrooms and A together. As a matter of fact, we used to have this dude that worked with us, and he made it. And he would come by and put it in your drink while you was at work and not tell you. You put 4 or 5 drops of liquid A in your pop. And all of a sudden you're fucking working your ass off, and you're like, what the hell's going on? Oh man, he got me. You know? And that's just how we lived when we was young. But we was pretty crazy. We used to do a lot of canoe trips like that, man. Do mushrooms and go on a 14-mile canoe trip. And then at the end of it, jump off the bridge into the water. And it was just a little 1-lane bridge, you know. You jump about 25, 30 feet into the water. And of course, they had a rope. You always swing on the rope. Mustache hairs are driving me crazy. But yeah, he was such a funny dude. And he used to make his mom laugh. She was his best fan. His mom was his best fan, that's for sure. But like I said, he was funny and a character. He got away with shit that you just couldn't imagine. Only because he was Rodney. Like one time, not too long ago, like a year or two before he passed, he was at an AutoZone or something, and you know, he was on disability, so he didn't have a whole lot of money. You know, that's why I had to do what I did to get his bike running. But anyhow, he likes Hot Wheels. He's really into Hot Wheels and models. And they had this Hot Wheels that he wanted, and his sister wouldn't buy it for him. So he fucking lays on the ground like a kid and starts flopping around, screaming that he wanted that hot ride, or Hot Wheel, I'm sorry, a Hot Wheel. And she was so embarrassed that she just left the store. You know, she just hauled ass out of there. and he knocked displays down and everything. I mean, he was throwing a fit. He was flopping around. I mean, that's just what kind of character he was. He would just do shit like that. You know, anyway, maybe I need to take this rest of this shot. I was really in the moment the first night, but dummy on me, I don't know nothing about technology. And my phone I could only get 23 minutes of video, even with no pictures. I just dumped my phone, you know, right before I started all this, so I'd be able to take videos. And apparently, I only had a little bitty SIM card, and it didn't hold very much. That's why the video cut off. I was really upset about that, and couldn't get it downloaded. I didn't have nothing to download it on. I couldn't put it on my old lady's computer because she's got work stuff on there, so I don't want, you know, nothing to do with all that. Don't want my shit nowhere near her work stuff. And besides, I don't want to touch her computer. That motherfucker might blow up. Seriously, it might. If I touch shit, you know, it tends to go south sometimes, especially if it's have anything to do with technology. I am technically challenged for sure. And but anyway, I got a laptop or Chromebook or something. It's a little slow, but I can work with it. I'm slow, so we kind of go together. Anyhow, I love that. I love that little dude. You know, he was skinnier than me. We had a lot of good times together. Spent a lot of years together. I know we was apart for like 20 years when I was married to my second wife, because she didn't like me having friends, you know. Besides, she worked third shift, and she wasn't much on taking care of the kids, you know. So I did that, you know. I took care of the kids. I fed the kids. I was the one there, you know. She was gone at night. She was gone before they got off the bus at school, you know. So when I got off work, it was dinner time and laundry time and whatever. So I didn't see nobody for 20 years. And then I stuck around till my last kid turned 18. And I was like, okay, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get the fuck out of this terrible marriage I'm in, you know. So I went down in town and found him. Found his sister, Tina, you know. She's a real good friend, just as much as he is, you know. They're just different. Rodney, he was my ass clown, you know. We was ass clowns together, and troublemakers together. And me and Tina, we could talk, you know. She was who I could talk to, because you'd say something to Rodney, and Rodney go tell everybody, you know. Tina wouldn't. Tina kept her shit, you know, kept my shit to herself. I hope, as far as I know, she did. And, you know, and just like Paul, you know, me and Paul used to party together for a little while, and he always made sure we got home together. And he didn't hang out with Rodney when Rodney drank either, because Rodney was an asshole when he drank. All he wanted to do was fight, and he had the biggest chip on his shoulder, you know. He was a little dude, but man, the sound of his fist when he hit somebody was noticeable. I mean, it was one of them, he'd hit somebody and you go, ooh, ooh. Yeah, he had the big old nasty skinny knuckles, and he loved to headbutt people, man. He'd headbutt you and just wipe you out. He's wiped many a dudes out headbutting. But he's just that wild, you know. I ain't quite that wild. Not saying I don't like to hit people, but you know, I surely didn't do it as often as he did. You know, especially when he go to the bar after he had his trach. It was amazing how many people would say something to him about covering up his trach or saying that looks disgusting, you know, won't you leave? Man, he would F you up if you said something about his trach. You know, he had throat cancer. He had that hole in his neck a long, long, long time. He had cancer many, many times. And the tough son of a bitch lived through it all, you know. I admire him for that. Even when he was on his deathbed, you know, the doctor said it was like 48, 72 hours. And he's so fucking stubborn, he didn't die for like 3 weeks. I mean, he lay there 2 weeks after he couldn't even talk anymore. You know, he was like, fuck y'all, I ain't going till I'm ready to go. And he wasn't ready to go. I know what he was waiting on, but I'm sorry he had to wait on that. You know, there wasn't nothing I could do about it. But he was, yeah, even in his deathbed, last day, he was able to talk to people. He was getting a tattoo. His good friend Brian was a dude that he partied heartily with, you know. And during that period, I wasn't around. Thank goodness, you know, because I wasn't down for it hard partying he was doing, you know. He was doing shit I don't fuck with, you know. If nature didn't make it, really, I don't want it. Not even that anymore, you know. I did then, but I was 20. But this dude's a hell of a tattooist, you know. And he done a lot of Rodney's tattoos through the years. Rodney was covered with tattoos. I mean, he was covered. I got some pictures somewhere. I wish I'd have had it all together before I did this, but being how it was his anniversary, I kind of did it too fast, and well, here we are as I'm fumbling through it. But no pictures and no video of him, but it's all thrown on a computer, but there's 20,000 pictures, you know. I take a lot of videos and pictures of stuff, so I got a lot of stuff. And it's spread out through all of it, so I gotta go through it all and find it. And I'm just learning how to do that, because I always be like, hey son, do this. And he go do it, and he'll be like, all right, all your pictures and stuff are downloaded. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I understand that, sure son. And then he laughs at me and goes on. But anyway, excuse me. Yep, cut that out. So, you know, even on his, you know, last dying day, that he was conscious and looking at people and talking. Yeah, he was getting a tattoo. like I said, I got pictures of it, and hopefully, maybe by his birthday, I'll have enough shit together that I can just make a quick little thing. I ain't gonna drag it out. I'll just post some pictures, and can't even remember what the hell it's called. Slideshow. Is that what it is? I told you I don't know this shit. Anyhow. It sucks missing, losing friends, you know. Especially when you have few. I heard somebody say the other night, you know, their dad always taught them that they only need 6. You know, it only takes 6 people to carry you off. Fuck, I ain't got 6 people. I know there's a lot of you that ain't got 6 people. That's why I'm getting cremated. Nobody's got to carry my ass. They just fucking take me out to the woods, to my hunting spot, and dump me. I don't want to be put underground and left, you know, like so many people are at the cemetery. I don't see no sense in it. I don't need to take up that much space. I ain't nobody special. There's a lot of people that are special, but I ain't one of them. Special ed maybe, but, you know, that's another story. But yeah, I miss my buddy. I really regret not being able to ride with him, but, you know, I guess it was just meant to be. My misfortunes was his good luck, you know. Like I said, I got on about his bike. I got on a Sportster Facebook thing and was asking for, like, after he rode his bike, like maybe a month, his stator went out, all the usual stuff that goes wrong with a bike when it sits forever, you know, got a little rust in the tank and all that shit. Well, it finally broke down. It needed a stator and all kinds of stuff. I don't even remember what all I had to get for it. But, you know, all these people were like, hey, yo, yeah, there was hundreds of people saying, oh, yeah, I'll send you this and that and this and that and this and that. Everything I needed and more. You know, he needed special stuff even, you know. Did anybody come through with that? One dude did. One dude did. And he gave me a used carburetor as he was coming through. He was on a road trip headed to his pop's house in Georgia so they can go on a ride together. And he's like, he Facebooked me, messaged me, and he was like, hey man, I got your carburetor. Can you meet me? I'm going through Indiana up here on this highway, you know, at such and such time. You know, if you can be up there, I'll give you this carburetor I got. I'm getting a new one anyway. So I was like, cool. Yeah, it was a trip. It was a 4-hour trip, but yeah, I'll do it. So I jumped on my bike that day and rode up there, and I waited, and the dude messages me. You know, he's got my number now, so he messages me. He's like, hey, I didn't know I was going to be driving by a certain kind of shop, and we decided to take a detour, and now he was all stoned and stupid and didn't want to drive, so he's going to be delayed a little bit, which was cool with me. I mean, yeah, I was sitting out in the hot sun, but, you know, when you're doing something for somebody, it shouldn't bother you too much. Yeah, you might get annoyed a little bit, you know, because you're putting some effort into it, and they're lollygagging, you know. But yeah, I love the dude for it. I mean, he was the only one that stepped up. The hundreds of people said they was going to step up. Nobody but him actually did. And anyhow, so I ended up having to wait hours and hours and hours. And finally I see this guy pull up, and he's got 2 Harleys in a U-Haul. And I was like, man, I hope that's that dude. I hope it is. And he stepped out, and I was like, yeah, that's got to be him. He's looking over here at me. So finally I get the carburetor, and I thank the dude, and I tell him about my, Rodney. And I was like, man, I got to go, I didn't even have $1 in my pocket to get a pop there. I'd sat there for hours in the sun without anything to drink. And in my health condition, that's not good. So I got that carburetor, and I brought it back and gave it to this mechanic that I suckered into working on his bike, I was like, come on, man, help me out. He's sick, I can't get nobody else to do it, So he did it. He did a half-assed job, but he did it. Although he took money out of his pocket too to do it, to do some of it too, He didn't like just work on it. He did. He had it. He ended up having to get a few things for it himself. So we get his bike back to him, man. He comes here because the bike's here, and he's just fucking happy as hell. I'm about as happy as he was the day he got it. But he's done lost probably 45 pounds. He's thin as hell. His sickness is getting him. And that was the second time I get to ride with him. I'm like, all right, man, he thought he was just going to leave. And I'm like, fuck that, dude. I'm riding with you to your house. I'm going to finally get to ride with you. And so he's like, cool. We take off and we ride. And I'm a blaster, dude. I ride fast. And I shouldn't, because I don't have enough experience to ride fast, especially over sand. I have a thing. This bike has a thing about sand, apparently. It finds it, twice. Sand has got me. But, yeah, I got to ride 40 miles with him back to his house. We got a block away from his house. And I get a barn nail in town that goes through my tire and through the sidewalk 2 blocks away from his house. I mean, when I'm doing like 40 miles an hour, and all of a sudden my shit's like, what the fuck? Because I gotta go around a little corner. And about lost it. The whole bike was like, bing, bing. So I puttered on to his house, and I get there, and we're talking about his bike, how glad he is to have it back in his garage, and how he was going to fix his garage up so he can work on his bike, which he never, he didn't have the patience to work on anything like that. But, he always talked about working on it, but he didn't have the patience for that shit. He'd try something and it wouldn't work, and he'd be like, fuck it. He's one of those kind of guys. But anyhow, when I realized that his tag said 1984, no, not 90, 94, or 90 something. Yeah, it was in the 90s. 97, that's what it was. Yeah, it said 97. I was like, dude, you can't be riding around with tags like this. He goes, fuck it, I'm dying of cancer today. You can take me to jail. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to ride my bike. I was like, dude, but that would happen to you, Rodney. With your look, that would happen. I said, man, I can't let you do that. I said, fuck it, my tire's flat. I said, it's safe. It should be safe here in their garage. I said, you use my tag, and when I get my tire fixed, I'll get my tag back from you. So I just let him I let it go till, he rode his bike during his last couple chemos, and he fell over. He was so weak, he fell over. Couldn't hold his shit up no more, you know. But he got to ride it. And that's all mattered. You know, it's all mattered to me anyway.